Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Kia. I'm one half of On the Ring Apron. And here's my lovely husband, Steven. How are you?
I'm doing well. In what part of the world is it afternoon?
Let's redo.
We're live. We can't redo.
Yeah,
We're live. We don't redo. I guess maybe if someone's watching in like Australia, maybe we have some Australian fans. Do we have any? Ooh, tell us if you are. That'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're worldwide and whatnot, but like England or whatever, but I know it's like dark 30 over there.
Okay.
See, that's what live TV does. It's unrehearsed. Anyway, welcome to On the Ring Apron. As my lovely co-host said, I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
And we're going to, of course, hey, we're standing. You know what that means? It means it's a take-home edition for WWE pay-per-view. That would be this Sunday's, I think they're calling it now, The Horror Show at Extreme Rules. They've changed the name like 6 times with the tagline. But I think they finally have it figured out, or they better, because that's what they're running with on Sunday, right?
Yep.
So, anywho, we're going to, of course, go through our usual thing. Now, for those of you who have joined us on our show before, you know that the shows are a little bit shorter when we do our take-homes because, of course, we're going to have plenty of opportunity tomorrow on our prediction show, Top Rope Spoilers, to discuss what we're going to see on Sunday at the Horror Show at Extreme Rules. So, with that, we do a very quick, brief overview of Raw and SmackDown, and we're going to put most of our focus into NXT this week, and of course it's vice versa when it's NXT weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So of course, as you would expect on both Raw and SmackDown, they did a good job of going ahead and setting up this weekend's matches, and we've got a number of good ones. Drew McIntyre is going to defend the WWE Championship against Dolph Ziggler, his former friend, with Ziggler getting to choose the stipulation.
Which I don't think we still know, do we?
He said he wasn't going to announce it until Extreme Rules, so we're going to have to, we may be waiting all the way literally until the bell rings to find out what it's going to be.
Just like the Devo, right?
Well, it's to his advantage, and the question is, will it be enough to get him the win? Because we all know Drew's bigger, Drew's stronger. Drew, of course, has champion's advantage, but of course, Dolph could take that away at any time. So we'll see how it plays out. Of course, the Wyatt Swamp fight. Braun Strowman I was going to say defending, but he's actually not defending his Universal title. But he is going to be taking on his former mentor, Bray Wyatt, in what we're going to consider, I guess, Louisiana swamps.
I call it the Louisiana Bayou.
Well, I just think Bayou fight, I guess, didn't have a good ring to it.
Well, in my opinion, that's what I'm calling it.
Wonderful. Either way, so it's going to be interesting to see because we anticipate that match will be a cinematic match, so see how that goes. 2 fantastic women's matches, both on the line. Honestly, the 2 I'm probably the most excited for of anything on this card, maybe outside of the Swamp match. You've got Sasha from SmackDown coming over to challenge Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, and Nikki Cross will also be getting her first championship match, first singles championship match against Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
For anybody that knows me, y'all know I'm about the tag team, the women empowerment, as well as just good, gory matches. So this seems like it's going to be my pay-per-view this go around.
And how ironic that you would say the word gory, because then we have another match set up being between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio, eye for an eye. And yes, it is literally what it means. The WWE officially announcing the only way to win the match is to literally pull the eye out of your opponent out of its socket.
I believe when Seth said eye for an eye, I believe he meant, what you did to me, I'm going to do to you, and what I've done to you, you're going to do to me. But I don't think when we looked at him on Monday, was he believing it was going to be, I have to pull your eyeball out to win this match, because you saw he kind of had some hesitations, or let's say some reservations on this one.
Well, what's ironic is that someone actually on our social media passed it along to us. Seth Rollins actually laid out Rey Mysterio going all the way back to December and laid out Mysterio and then said, what was it you said to me? An eye for an eye? And now you're looking 8 months into the future, and here they are literally having an eye for an eye match. All I know is that, I hope that this is some trick that WWE has up its sleeve because I've only ever seen one person wrestle a match in an eye patch. Naomi. Good job. And, I just don't see how the person, if this is fully legit, how whoever wins can be able to continue wrestling from this point forward.
I just like how our fans, as well as our supporters, are so clairvoyant to actually be able to catch that and see into the future. So, I mean, for that to happen, that tells you, it was pretty much good enough. It was, what's the word I'm looking for? Either way, it was good enough for someone to bring it up to me and Steve and tell us that.
Am I the only one noticing she used the word clairvoyant? Okay? She heard Alexa tonight on SmackDown on her Moment of Bliss talking about her powers of clairvoyance. And then Bayley busting out all the science words and science knowledge tonight. See, it's not about wrestling. You're learning while you're out here.
The only thing that would
knowledge, son.
The only thing that would make that better is if Bayley had on glasses and she said molecules.
Let's let Sasha do that.
All right, Sasha.
Oh,
Bayley,
I know.
Whatever.
Well, when I finally fork out my $400 for her cameo, I know what I'm going to ask her to do. Just literally just see. She would look a lot better at it than I would.
And this is what I have to live with, people.
And you love it. 6 feet.
Yeah, even you.
I gotta step back over there now. Anyway, but as we said, and then there's a number of other matches. SmackDown tag team title match was announced tonight. We're going to be able to talk about that. But, of course, as anybody who follows us knows, we have our show, Top Rope Spoilers, comes on 7 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, where we will officially go over the entire card and also provide you with our predictions. So we're going to have plenty of time to discuss all of that. But tonight, let's focus on the one show that is not going to be on the pay-per-view, which this week was NXT. I normally would say it would set the bar, but honestly, I would argue Raw pushed it to its limit this week. We were talking about how this is one of the better Raws, and usually the take-home ones are kind of,
middle
let's
of the road.
let's kind of pull it back. Let's go, but Raw really put on a good show. But NXT certainly did its best after 3 consecutive ratings wins over AEW. They did take a step back this week. AEW pulled it out by just a little bit. But they still put on a great show following the Great American Bash. You ended up having Io Shirai defending the NXT Women's Championship successfully against Tegan Nox. Nox putting on a fantastic show, and it opened up the door for also a new #1 contender for Io right off the bat.
I feel like, you know how much I was rooting for Io. I've pulled for Io. I also feel like Tegan in her own right, just because she got injured, I feel like ever since she's gotten injured, she's come back stronger, mentally, physically, verbally, and emotionally. I think she's just ready, and I was glad to see her in the title picture.
Do we also call her shinier?
Most definitely.
Shiny-est.
Shiny-est.
Shiny-est, I love it. But yeah, it's definitely clear that the bar is continuing to get set higher as Tegan continues her build up back. Pretty safe that you knew that Io was not going to drop the title this early. But immediately as soon as the match is over, another threat right there, front and center in the form of Dakota Kai.
Not her former best friend, my bad. That's Tegan. I'm thinking about Tegan. But hey, King Coda, why? She to me I feel like has been one of the people that has been the strongest ever since her heel turn on her former best friend. So for me, I feel like it's going to be a good showing when that match takes place, when that match happens. I feel like she's had Raquel in her corner. I feel like if she didn't have Raquel in her corner, I feel like she would still be a threat, in my opinion. So right. I think Io needs to kind of keep her guards up and keep her head on a swivel.
Well, that was the one thing that we saw is that she was able to just kick Io, right? Now, granted, element of surprise, but at the same time, she did all of that without Raquel. So, Dakota proving she's a threat on her own, but then when you add Raquel Gonzalez to the outside, it's going to make a whole different story. And then an unexpected match that ended up happening, but certainly helped with ratings along the way, the new double champ, Keith Lee, who now holds the NXT and the North American Championship, putting both titles on the line against his friend Dominik Dijakovic. Of course, the two of them have had just 2 instant classics against each other, with each of them winning one of them. So this was the rubber match to kind of break things, and why not? 2 titles on the line to put it out there. Lee ends up retaining, Dijakovic giving him that moment of respect, but it was very short-lived as the lights went out, and out comes Scarlett again.
Again, slay, always slays. Like I said across the show, it's Sasha.
That woman wakes up at 10.
It's Sasha who slays on SmackDown. It's Scarlett who slays on NXT, and I feel like it's Zelina on Raw. Those are just my people. I don't know.
Well, we talked about also. For those who didn't see it, Scarlett ends up coming out to the ring.
Yeah.
And just comes out with this burlap bag and ends up dumping it out, and it's the pieces of the broken hourglass that Keith Lee had stepped on a few weeks back. She leaves without saying a word. Nothing needed to be said. It was not a matter of your time is ticking. It's now a reflection of your time's up.
Sounds like someone else we know of.
So, he needs to come out of retirement if he's going to do that. Either way, so it seems very, very clear that Karrion Kross is going to be the next challenger for Keith Lee's championship or chips, We'll have to see, you know, if it's going to be for both titles or if it'll be for one. And with Karrion now in his, you know, in Keith Lee's eyesight, you know, is that going to cause enough of a distraction that someone else may be able to move in? Because at this point, every target of singles wrestling is squarely on Keith Lee.
But we saw, if we remember back to NXT, we saw what Karrion Kross did to Dijakovic, you know, during the middle of an interview. He came in, he kind of, you know, made his point known by beating up Dijakovic. So, I mean, I feel like, in my opinion, I love the fact that Keith Lee are holding both titles, but at the same time, like I've said for Io Shirai, I think he needs to keep his head on a swivel, and I think he needs to keep his guard up.
Right, because it's not going to be just, you know, Karrion coming for the NXT Championship. He's also going to have other contenders. There are people like Damian Priest, who picked up a victory this week over my man, Cameron Grimes. I need his hat.
As long as you don't have the rest of them, I'm fine with it. God, he's so sticky and grimy.
I was going to say, he looks like he'd be sticky.
Ugh.
You know, I'll let y'all judge that. But, you know, he is able to get the win over Cameron Grimes to finally, hopefully, end that story. And it's very clear that he's on the upswing, you know, having a great match against Finn Balor recently. You know, and they're doing all of this also, you know, you look at, you know, this particular last week or two of NXT, you're wondering what are they about to do with Gargano, because, you know, he's kind of, you know, sitting middle of the road. Finn's nowhere to be found right now.
I'd love to see that match again, honestly.
Right.
And I'm not much for repeated matches, but that's one I'd like to see. I'd like to see them use everybody on their roster to the best of their ability and as much as possible.
And on the flip side, you also now apparently have a clear-cut #1 contender with Dakota Kai now being the person who seems to be lining up to be the next contender for Io's title. So it opens the door of, now what do you do with people like Candice LeRae? What do you do with people like Mia Yim? You know, we talked on the show a couple of weeks ago about Mia potentially having gotten her curtain call after that street fight with Candice. You know, so is she getting a couple weeks, and then, you know, maybe she's going to appear on either Raw or SmackDown.
I already stated my opinion on that. You know how I feel about, like, the NXT people getting called up. If she gets called up, you know how much I love her. That's, like, my girl. I can't say too much more about her. If she gets called up, they better use her right. Don't have her sitting and catering like you do all your other, you know, people.
If the Queen's enunciating every syllable, that means this is big to her.
Yes, do not.
There it is again.
That just arcs, like, under my skin. It grinds my gears. I just do not like it at all. Vince, that's to you, because I know you're the one doing all the string pulling.
Right, now we're going to be kicked off next week. he'll, you know, what is it? We're not big deal, but now we'll be the little fish swimming in the huge pond now.
Hey, put her name out there, right?
Hey, whatever gets us popularity, right? Hey, because our followers continue to go this way.
And
that's how we want it to keep going. And, you know, a very big shout out to our followers, because over the course of the 5 months that we've been doing this since WrestleMania, you know, we've had a steady uprise in our following. So, you know, it's because of fans like you that we get to do this, you know, every single week. I'll tell you right now, just going a little bit into my personal life, I work IT as my primary job. We had 5 servers go down at my job this week. I am tired, does not even begin to describe how I feel right now. And yet I would not miss this for the world, because of people like our great followers and the people who watch this and support us all the time. We have gotten such an amazing amount of, you know, positive feedback, love, support, you know, shout outs from the professional wrestlers themselves, from the crew that's out there working on it. It means so much to us. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, because even when we are not at our best, and there have been some shows where we go back and we look at it and it's like, we did not have it tonight. It's you guys who are the ones who keep saying, keep going, keep pushing, you know, you make this fun for us. And that's what it is. Because remember, at the end, we're not making a set off of this. You know, we make what little, you know, 50 cents worth of revenue off of YouTube, but that's pretty much about it. So, you know, at the end of the day, we're doing this because we love doing it. And as long as we keep loving doing it, and you guys keep loving to watch, we're going to keep doing this. So a huge shout out to all of you.
Thank you.
And of course, you know, with it being a pay-per-view weekend, that means we have more material heading your way. As we said already, you know, our shows are usually, our take-homes are relatively pretty quick because, of course, especially for the main roster ones, because we're going to have plenty of time tomorrow on Top Rope Spoilers to discuss all 7 matches that we're going to see on the horror show at Extreme Rules. That's going to be on Sunday night. So, go ahead and give you a little bit of our programming note as we wrap things up on a quicker show tonight so we can all get to bed. I got to work a Saturday. It sucks. But, you know, hey, money, money, money. Nothing?
No.
We don't
Only
get the,
Shane-
we don't get the little Shane McMahon,
Only
you know.
Shane McMahon can do it and look good doing it for his age.
No comment. I can see Stephanie would have loved that. Stephanie would have loved the back pedal and everything.
All right, well, let's get Landon here to do it because he does it well.
No, he does it far better than we do.
Mhm.
But then again, he's 14, so I guess that works better. Anywho, so programming notes. This week, of course, as we have on any given week up to this point, we have Questions with the Queen at 2 o'clock. A new segment for her being debuted this week. And also, make sure you hang around all the way to the end. It's only going to be, about 14, 15 minutes, so it's not terribly long, but make sure you hang around to the end because we do have an announcement regarding the future of that show.
Yes.
So make sure you stick around all the way to the end, but that's at 2 o'clock Eastern. And then, of course, at 7 o'clock Eastern, come back and join us for Top Rope Spoilers, where we will go over the horror show at Extreme Rules, go over all the matches, give our thoughts, and, of course, give our predictions. We each have the same record through 4 pay-per-views so far. We're each 23-12. So somebody's got to try to break the tie this week. Right now, Kia's been leading most of the way. I finally caught her on the last pay-per-view. So let's see if I can continue the trend. But either way, long week, more for me than you can imagine. But you know what? We thank you so much for joining us. We love being here. We love you guys supporting us. And, we're looking forward to another fun pay-per-view weekend. Also, something special perhaps coming out of this weekend. We're going to try something for Extreme Rules that we've never done before. More details coming. So, hang with us as we continue to try to bring you guys a ton of fun. This is hopefully the same way for you guys that it is for us, which is a way to de-stress during these rough times, and a way also to just get some laughs, some fun, and above all else, just have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yep.
So, either way, you guys have yourself a good weekend. We're going to see you tomorrow. I'm Steve.
I'm Kia.
Take us home.
It was good having you. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow at 2 and at 7. Have a good night, guys. Bye.